My name is Sam Inosensio, and I serve as the National Director of International Justice Mission in the Philippines. When IJM started its operation in Manila in 2001, the issue of human trafficking, the national agenda, or even in the local agenda, children and young women were being sold in bars or brothels, and even from across the streets where police stations were. These children and young women were there being sold and abused and exploited without anyone protecting them. IJM's work in the Philippines started slow, especially as we engaged with government partners, because they were wondering why would an NGO like IJM engage with them or work with them on a criminal justice system response, but we engaged them in terms of building their capacity to enforce the law, because that was a gap at that time. One particular case that really stood out is this case against Jaguar Bar. So this was a bar that's located in Cebu in central Philippines. When we started our work in Cebu, everyone told us that Jaguar is untouchable. We actually didn't know what it means. So I did ask our partners and stakeholders there, what do you mean untouchable? It was untouchable because high-level officials, government officials, protected it from being operated against. When we referred the case to them against Jaguar, the police was completely reluctant. But eventually, when we were able to engage them in terms of our partnership and our work, confidence building with them, they said yes to operating against Jaguar. On the night of the rescue operation, close to 150 women and girls were removed from Jaguar Bar. And the following day, front page news all across the city of Cebu. Jaguar fell. And that for me was very, very important, especially in our work, because IJM's model is to increase the risk of doing business for these criminals. Disrupt criminal activities by increasing the risk of them perpetrating the crime. So when Jaguar fell, the smaller operations in the city felt very vulnerable. If this big, iconic bar that's selling minors and young women had fallen through police operations, then they might follow next. Online sexual exploitation of children, or OSEC, is one of the biggest threats to Filipino children today. In online sexual exploitation of children, young children, boys and girls, are being abused or exploited by local traffickers who then sell these images to consumers on the other side of the world, even including via live streaming. Online sexual exploitation of children is a massive issue in the Philippines. When we conducted a study to determine its scale, the statistics or the findings were quite sobering. Close to 500,000 Filipino children were victims of this crime in 2022 alone. And another finding showed that 250,000 adult Filipinos trafficked these children also in the same year. Online sexual exploitation of children is a very complex crime. Primarily, it is a tech-enabled crime where perpetrators use gadgets like your computers or smartphones to perpetrate this crime, even live streaming the abuse to consumers on the other side of the world. But what makes it so disturbing for me are the victims. We're talking here of very young children. Based on the study conducted by IJM in 2020, the median age of victims is only 11 years old. What we have found out for these local traffickers is that they're mostly the parents, moms, uncles, or close family relatives who are perpetrating this crime in the Philippines. We're the ones actually perpetrating the crimes and abusing these children. That's why this crime makes it very, very compelling for us to act immediately. I believe that International Justice Mission has developed a model of protection. Currently now, Through the efforts and partnership of IJM with the Philippine government, we have conducted more than 300 rescue operations all across the Philippines that resulted in the rescue of more than 1,600 young children and children at risk from this abuse and exploitation. And that, for me, really signifies that we can actually win this fight. It takes extra effort, every one of us, to be able to come together to win the fight against online sexual exploitation of children. What makes online sexual exploitation of children happen in a massive scale is that it's really easy to perpetrate. You don't have to set up a business. It can happen in homes. You have to use your, just personal gadgets to live stream abuse. So one of the things that IJM is trying to do is to make the perpetration of this crime difficult by ensuring that we disrupt the technology part, and then we also disrupt the financial side of it. On the technology part, we want to ensure that the government of the Philippines will legislate for tech companies to install safety by design technologies in their platforms. So the abuse and exploitation, the live streaming of that abuse is really disrupted from the very start. Also, we are advocating with the Philippine government on the issuance of regulations for financial companies so that they can also disrupt the payment of suspicious transactions to local traffickers in the Philippines. What personally gives me great hope is really the survivors. Because really, at the end of the day, we do this because of them. The children in the Philippines needed great protection. And I believe as a nation, we have failed them in not standing up to fight against online sexual exploitation of children. But there is great hope because we have seen the momentum, we have seen the great encouragement in terms of partnership between civil society and the government, individuals stepping up. And for me, that is the kind of partnership and collaboration that would truly end online sexual exploitation of children in the Philippines. Online sexual exploitation of children in the Philippines is so massive that the solution cannot just be contained in the Philippines. And South Korea, being part of Asia-Pacific region, we are inviting you to help and support the work against online sexual exploitation of children in the Philippines. The Philippines currently has so many problems, and of course, one of these big issue is online sexual exploitation of children. The global community coming together to address an issue that is as compelling as online sexual exploitation of children in the Philippines. We are really part of this bigger community of nations, and we owe it to the children in general, not just Filipino children, but children in general, young ones, boys and girls, to live in freedom, in true freedom. And this is really just a great invitation for greater collaboration and partnership between the Philippines and Korea. These children never had any protection from adults. Please be their protection until all are free.